Welcome back to another episode of Let's Have a Sip. I'm your host, Sean Drinks. Hicks are fun, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm sweating my booty off, but
I heard
it's
that.
all good. Yeah. But hey, so you gave me these samples. I am super excited to try these. You got one from your whiskey or excuse me, your bourbon club.
So all three of those are technically from the same whiskey club. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was the cartel one. I gotta say that's the one I'm really excited to try
Yeah,
because
really
that
good.
was what. So what exactly is the cartel, and how did that whole like pick get started, or that type of whiskey? Like what is that?
So the Trinity River Whiskey Cartel is a local one here, kind of Fort Worth area. And those guys got together and they decided instead of doing a club pick, they wanted basically start their own brand of whiskey. So it took them, they said it took them like a year to go through all the licensing and to get the labels and all that kind of stuff. And they bought the whiskey. Like it's theirs. It's not like they went to a distillery and they tasted some stuff. Like that's they bought that whiskey.
Yeah.
And so they started up their own brand and at some point I think it might even be available in some stores.
That would be super cool. Yeah, because whenever I saw that you had one and I saw that it was local, I was like, I want to try it. So
Yeah.
And you were like, you can't. You have to be in the club, but not even everybody in the club got one. So I should be.
Yeah, it was a big deal. You had to be lucky enough to get a spot.
And so what is the name of the club that you're in?
I'm in a few of them, but this one is Trinity River Whiskey Cartel.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where the cartel for that brand came from.
Okay, yeah, because I think that whoever runs that account on Instagram started following me the other day, and I was like, oh, cool. So
Yep.
So is it? Are they very transparent as far as like what is in this little sample that I have, or is it kind of like a? Because I know some bottles don't really tell you like what's in it, where it's distilled, where is it bottled.
So this one it's on the back of the bottle. Bottled by Strong Spirits in Bardstown, Kentucky, distilled in Indiana. So
MGP, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, nice, man. That's cool. All right, so which one should we try first? So we got the cartel, we got the New Riff Whiskey Bandit 2 is what it says.
Yep.
And then Koval, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. TRWC single barrel. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what that is. So
that's the short Trinity River Whiskey Cartel, TRWC.
Okay. Duh. Okay.
So all of those are from those group of guys. This is what they've put out over the past couple of years.
Okay, cool. So which one should we try first?
I mean, I'm thinking we should build up to the cartel just because you're so excited about it.
Okay. All right. So New Riff then.
You want to do the New Riff first?
Well, no, I was just speaking on like proof. So we can do whatever because the New Riff is 107. Koval's 110, and then it says the cartel is a 120.5.
We'll go up that way.
Let's do it.
We'll show off that.
Yeah, whenever. Oh shit! Okay then. Nice. Yeah, whenever I got these samples, I was like, "Damn, these are some big ass samples." Nice.
I mean, gotta be generous, you know.
Yeah, appreciate you, bud.
Give you a little something to sip on. And I'm sure the guys are going to watch this and they're going to be like, David, you got it all wrong. That's not anything on how the cartel came about fucking at your butt.
They're like, yeah, shut up. What are you even talking about? Okay, so I've never had New Riff before, so I'm pretty excited about this one.
They're picking out some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Can you
that's what I was getting ready to say. You can't buy it in Texas, right?
Correct.
Damn Texas and then their laws.
Right, yeah. We're living in the Wild West, but you can't buy liquor on Sundays.
I know. What the flip, man? Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
So this is the second pick that they did, the Whiskey Bandit theme.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one they got was Unicorn Status. That whiskey tasted like eating a toffee bar.
It
It
was
was just
so it was a new riff like pick or what?
yeah, it was a new
Yeah.
riff pick. So they went up there and they tasted this barrel, and it was, I mean, like liquid toffee on your tongue.
Oh fuck yes.
It was so good. And this one's not as much. I mean, it was buttery and I mean it was crazy. This one, you get more of the standard bourbon flavors out of it.
Yeah, that's one thing I need to get better at is like understanding like what I'm smelling because like dude, my nostrils and my sense of smell are so trash because I have like a I'm like diagnosing myself and I'm pretty positive I have like a deviated septum because I can barely breathe through my nose.
Mhm.
I'm a mouth breather, everybody. Okay, leave
Yeah,
me alone. So I can like barely breathe through one nostril, but like I can still smell some stuff, but like it would be nice to be able to breathe through my nose.
right,
So
for sure. I'm not real good on picking out a lot of notes and flavors, like unless it's like a prominent, like, yeah, that's chocolate or that's cherry or that's stone fruit.
yeah.
I can't. It just all tastes like whiskey to me, but some of it, tastes better than others.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That I mean, and that's like one thing that I'm trying to get better at is like, like I'm trying to understand what the hell I'm tasting because like if you're drinking like, let's say you've had four different pours or whatever, at the end of the day or at the end of those pours, it's probably gonna the shit's probably gonna taste the same.
Oh yeah, you don't blow your palate completely out from all the proof because you don't mess around with a lot of the 70 and 80 proof stuff anymore.
Yeah,
I don't even want to buy it if it's under 100 half the time.
yeah, that's kind of how I am too. Like it's usually my go to is probably like 110 and above, but I'll definitely drink anything below it. But yeah, because I know your favorite is Antique 107, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
obviously
absolutely.
yeah. So 107, and I
I
still I still can't like I cannot find it's. But I did find a Weller 12 the other day for 50
You
bucks. I was
did.
pretty excited
You
about that.
did.
I did. I thought about you. I was like, should I go trade this for a 107? But I was like, nah,
You can trade that for two 107s.
shit, man, that's a pretty good. Actually, you know what? I'll probably do it then. Mm. So it's funny. My fiance Courtney was kind of going through your Instagram because she'll ask me, "Hey, who you got coming on?" And she's like, "Let me look at the social media, blah blah blah." And he was like, she was like, "Did you know he was a reverend?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, it says it on there, but like, I didn't know if that was like legitimately a thing." So she was like,
Uh,
Maybe he can marry us for like whenever we get married." And I'm like, "I mean, that would be kind of cool."
so yes, that's legit. I am certified through universallifechurch.com. I can perform weddings, and I've done several. I was going to try to put a number on it, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
I thought that'd be pretty fucking funny. Like it would be funny if like because we never met until like now virtually. So
Correct.
and we've been kind of going back and forth just about like through text message,
Hmm.
Instagram and stuff like that. Because I got connected with you through Sarah, one of Courtney's coworkers.
Hmm.
Because Sarah came over one day and she saw how much bourbon I had. She was like, "You need to talk to my buddy." And I was like, "Who's your buddy?" And
But
yeah, and she was like, "Yeah, he loves Weller," and I was like, "I like Weller too." And then I think that's whenever I looked you up on Instagram, and I was like, "Okay, cool," because I don't like I just moved to Texas a little over a year ago, and I still
right.
don't really have like a lot of um friends that I can kind of enjoy the whiskey with. Like, I mean, yeah, we got people that come over and we'll drink whatever, but it's not the same if they're like it, they're the kind of people where like, okay, let me give you this Maker's Mark. Not shitting on Maker's Mark, but
Right.
I guess like, but it's like I don't want to give you this cartel or this new riff that I'm drinking right now because you wouldn't really understand what it is that you're drinking.
Right. Right. They're not going
So
to appreciate it as much for sure.
yeah, and so like yesterday I did some um like bourbon bar hopping. I only went to two bars, but I went to one here but they were both in Dallas. But the first one was called KSP on Henderson, and they had a pretty cool um, little bourbon bar. And I tried the Russell's 13 for the first time, and I've always heard people just fucking raving about it, how good it is. And like Wild Turkey is fucking phenomenal. I got to say,
Mhm.
out of all the wild turkeys that I've had, I'd probably say the Kentucky Spirit and then like a Master's Keep. Those were like my favorites. But like, I don't know if I need to just like come back to that particular bottle, but like meaning the 13, like I was like, I mean, it's
Underwhelmed.
okay. Yeah, but and I don't know if it because I didn't eat anything before I went, and I drank a shit ton of water, and there's just so many different like variables that go into like
For
how
sure.
you're tasting certain things. And the cool thing was, dude, it was like $16 a pour.
It's not bad,
So
I guess. Yeah.
and I know you said that like I'm still trying to learn like, okay, if I'm going to different restaurants,
Uh,
how is this actually affordable or is this a good price on this particular
Right.
pour of whiskey? So like whenever they told me it was 16 bucks, I was like, dude, they're selling this bottle for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So like, yes, please give me a pour. So needless to say, it was they had a couple other people that came into the particular area of that restaurant because they have just like a little bourbon bar that's kind of like tucked back to the side, and they got all their cool stuff, whatever. And I saw the Russell's 13. I was like, I want that. And it had four other people that came in within like a hour time frame, and they saw that I was drinking that, and they're like, "Oh, I want that Russell's 13." And like the guy that run, it was one of the guys that runs the place, if not maybe the owner. Don't really remember his name, but he kept fucking with everybody, saying like, "Oh, you can't fucking drink that. It's my last bottle." And like he thought, like people thought he was being serious, and they're
How
like,
funny.
and they were like, "Yeah, well, let me get something." And like, no, I'm fucking with you. You can drink it. So because he was like, "Yeah, this is probably our most popular bottle, and this is our last one." And he was like, "We only got 3 bottles for this last batch,
Oh,
so
wow.
it's sad to see it go, but I'm glad y'all are enjoying it." So I was
Yeah,
like, "Yeah,
make that
it's not
money.
bad." Yeah.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to get one. I missed it. That little store that was by my job. I didn't go in at lunch, but I swung by on the way out after work, and they're like, "Oh, we got a case of something in. It was Ryan's or Russell's 13 year," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I missed it. I didn't go in, so I missed my chance to get one
Yeah, it's such a bummer when like that something's dropping and like you're just late or you just miss out on it. It's FOMO. That's what it is.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
no, I know you just recently got a promotion. Congratulations.
Actually, I changed jobs completely.
Oh, excuse me. Yes. No, yes,
Yeah,
that's right. You changed jobs because you were a salesman with John Deere, if I'm not
yeah. I
mistaken.
was a John Deere dealer. I was in the parts department for a John Deere dealer. Yep.
Okay, and what is it that you're doing now?
I work for a engineering firm that does stainless steel and automated equipment for the dairy industry.
Hell yeah.
So I am the parts manager slash purchasing agent, and I'm trying to wrangle their parts system that has been neglected for 30 years.
So I feel like that's got to be a pain in the ass. Like because you're and then sometimes my brain is so weird. So is this a sales position?
No,
Okay.
I do
Well,
not. There's no retail aspect. I'm working for the company only for their engineers and their welders and such.
okay, I got you. Yeah, because I don't know if we're allowed to really even say this, but you were on lunch the other day. You know what I'm getting ready to say? And you were going
I went
to
to
the
a
park.
barbecue place and had me a sandwich.
Yeah, it was good. What kind of sandwich was that?
The Funky Town Hot Chicken at Brick's Barbecue in Fort Worth.
Funky Town Hot Chicken.
Mhm.
Man, so never heard of it, but there is a spot that's I think one of them is in Arlington and one of them is in Addison. It's called Dave's Hot Chicken.
I've heard of it. I've not been there.
Dude, so do you like Chick-fil-A?
Yeah,
Okay, so everyone's like, "Oh, the Lord's chicken." That's like the thing people say about
right.
Chick-fil-A. And dude, Dave's Hot Chicken shits all over Chick-fil-A. It's so
I'm
good.
glad I'm not over there with you doing this podcast together. You're going to get struck by lightning, sir.
I see. I said that to tons of people, and they were like, "You're going to hell." So
Yeah, but Trevor over at Bricks, I mean, it's an amazing chicken sandwich, and he's got this sauce that he puts on. I don't even know what's in it. He calls it dank sauce.
oh yeah,
It's so good. Oh, but it's so hot.
I'm gonna have to go up there at some point. I don't. I mean, I work in Fort Worth, but I don't really necessarily work like close to the city.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh yeah,
because
you're
I'm
up north of everything.
Yeah, so I'm technically the building that I work in is in Hazlitt, but I mean it's pretty much Fort Worth. So
Yeah,
I feel like Hazlitt's like a I don't know.
it's a
It's just,
suburb.
yeah. So all right, this new riff, Whiskey Bandit. I'm a fan. I really like it.
That's good.
So all right, so should we kill this or should we go to the next one?
Let's just go to the next one. You can save that for something you want to sip on later.
Let's do it.
You
Okay.
want to go back
So
to it. And move up to
all
the
right,
Koval.
let's do it.
All right. So that's the Koval. If anybody wants
You
to
know,
see it,
it's
there's the
funny.
old tater sticker.
Oh, there you go. Ferris Bueller, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's funny because like you were like, I'm gonna see a Koval and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I've never heard of Koval. And then it's one of those things where it's like, if you're playing, like, you know, that game that you would play if you were ever traveling with friends or like you're a little kid and like you're looking for other license plates
Okay.
that
Yeah.
are not, yeah. So like you're like in Texas, but like you need to find a out of state license plate. It's like one of those things where like every liquor store I went to, I started seeing Koval, and I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Right. So they're distilled in Chicago, and I had never heard of it until they did this pick. This one's going to be quite different from the new riff. It's got some unique flavors going in it.
I got my little whiskey glass. It's got like little chemical things on it. You probably it's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
probably kind of hard to see,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, little
Atoms
chemical
and
thing. Yeah, and it,
neutrons and
telling you like all the stuff that goes into whiskey.
oh, okay.
My neighbor, shout out to Bree and Tom. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all getting me this. I think they got me two of them, but it's kind of a cool little. It's a different glass. I was like, that's kind
Yeah,
of cool. I like
it's
that.
kind of slick.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm smelling, so it smells good. That's good.
But it's got some different stuff going on, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Like I can't name it. I don't know what it is.
I think I might like this one better than the new riff.
Oh,
So, but then again, that and I've talked about this before on here. It's like, you know, I've had bottles where I thought they tasted like monkey butthole, and I come back to it and it's like, actually, this is pretty flipping good. So, yeah, this I gotta come. This is really
so did you lick a lot of monkey buttholes where you moved down from? Is that
yeah,
what's
man.
going on here?
Yeah, man. You know, originally from New Orleans, they had a lot of swamp monkeys, you know, out there, and that's just a thing we did, man. So,
I got you.
so I saw that you I had asked you about it before, but I guess you said that you don't really kind of do it too much. But you used to have a YouTube channel specific for like fishing.
Yep.
So you like super big into fishing still, or is that just kind of like a thing you used to do?
No, I'm still really into it. I don't go as often as I should. Sometimes you just wake up and you're like, I don't feel like loading on my gear this morning. But then, especially you're experiencing it. Texas summer. You don't want to do shit outside.
Fuck no. Hell no. And
But
I work outside. And I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
it's stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're about to get into the fall season. The temperatures are dropping, so I'll definitely be loading the old kayak for some more fishing. Especially now, I don't work Saturdays anymore at all, so I got those freed up.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I used to work Saturdays whenever I first moved here. I don't usually work them anymore. It just depends on what's going on. But yeah, no, it's nice to really have a weekend. And
I feel like I've worked at least every other Saturday since the beginning of time.
God, it's terrible.
Awful. I've always been in some type of retail, so
Yeah,
brutal.
I worked. Let's see, I worked retail back whenever I had like a side gig whenever I was still in college. I worked at Finish Line.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm terrible at sales because they're always like, "Hey, you need to push this, you need to push that." And I also worked at GNC as well, and back whenever I was like really into bodybuilding and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, we got this new product that's going to give everyone a heart attack. Sell 10 of them today."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, all right, I'll do my best," and then I wouldn't
I
do
need
it.
you to
So
kill 10 people today if you want to
yeah,
make that bonus.
that's the thing, man. I felt like when you're working in certain jobs, I really felt like I couldn't really act like I was myself. I just felt like very robotic. Because I
Right.
mean, I can act myself at like at UPS. You're gonna work hard. Don't get me wrong. You work very hard, and it's very fulfilling. But you work some long flipping hours, man.
But
And
yeah, it sounds like you work a shit ton.
yeah, but I mean, it's gotten a lot better here recently. I mean, they're very conscientious of like, okay, how many hours did you work this week? Okay, let's try to give you or someone else like maybe like a half day, one day, and
The
all
good
this
old
stuff.
half day.
Yeah, I had a half day on Friday, and I was like, thank you, I love you.
So we'll keep you here long enough just to screw up the rest of the day, and you can't get anything else done, and then we'll see you Monday.
Yeah, they're like a half day is 12 hours. It's half the day, man. So you're good.
Exactly.
All right, what do you think about this Koval, however you pronounce it?
I like it. It's different. I don't drink it a lot. Like I've had it for over a year, I think, and I mean that's
Yeah.
what I got left. But I mean, it's also a pick, and I try not to kill those super fast because you don't get those anymore. Those are gone.
Yeah, for sure. And I do the same thing. I have quite a few store picks, and if I can't find, if I don't have another bottle, I'm very hesitant to keep drinking it. So,
Right.
and I feel like a lot. I have some duplicates of some bottles, but like most of my bottles are just like that's the only one I got. So,
Right.
like for instance, I think I may have mentioned this to you because I was like, I kept going up to the store and looking at it. I'm like, I want you. I want to get you. And I finally bit the bullet on it. Oh, I've talked about this.
That old Wolf and Willet or whatever it is.
Yeah, I've talked about this bottle on here before, but I mean, it's so good. So that glare is terrible. So sorry.
I got so
But
many text messages of you with that in your hand.
I'm like, I might get it today, but I didn't.
No, better not.
Yeah, and then I ended up biting the bullet because, like, the only reason I did it, I felt like such a child, was some guy. So the store that I go to is like less than a mile away from my house, so I'm usually always up there. And I was up there for 4 hours on Friday because I had nothing else better to do besides hang out at a liquor store. But I'm I'm pretty decent friends with the owner, so and there was like a little whiskey tasting going on, so I was just kind of chilling. But um, yeah, I felt like a big child because some guy came in, was like did a beeline straight towards that bottle, was like, how much is that? And I was like, don't do it, no, please. And then he was like, whenever he found out how much it was, he's like, I don't think I'm gonna do that. And I was like, maybe 20 minutes later, the guy that owns the place, I was like, Scott, I'm gonna buy it. He's like, you serious? Let's do it. So, and it's probably one of the few bottles that I paid a lot for and did not necessarily regret it. So,
I don't know. That was a lot of money.
yeah, it was, but I was like, I was feeling frisky that day. So,
Oh yeah, you were.
yeah, yeah.
Because somebody else was over there touching your girl, and you was like, "No, we ain't having that."
Hell no, man! You better get out of here. We don't like your kind right here, boy.
Oh my god,
So, all right, that Koval is phenomenal. I like
it's
that.
tasty. Yeah.
I'm gonna pour a little bit more of that.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna take it easy.
okay,
I'm
that's fine.
I'm still recuperating from Friday night, so I'm gonna take it easy.
No, one thing, dude, your beard. I'm trying to get my beard to like that level because like your beard is like fucking phenomenal. Like I'm trying to
Thank
get
you.
like a Kratos style, if you will, like
Yeah.
from God of War going on. But like it's like very naturally curly, like down at the very
Oh
bottom,
yeah.
and like I feel like if I don't maintain it, I start to look like that like pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean that looks like a squid.
Tentacles.
Yeah, dude, it's like it can get bad if I don't like
No,
take
you
care of it.
gotta. Yeah, you. I mean, it's. I've had a beard for several years now, in all different lengths, and you gotta take care of it, man. I got product. I got balms. I've got oils. I've got washes. I blow dry it. I brush it out. I mean, it's. I put more work into it than I do the rest of it, but
Yeah, I'm looking a little scraggly right now, but like There's a spot here in where I live. It's called the Bearded Bastard. I've only been there once, but it's a cool spot, man. And like, I feel like the way they do things is super cool. And yeah, I went to go get the lineup up there one day, and I was like, it was probably one of the best. Like the way they shaped my beard, I was like, this is y'all did a really good job. I'm 100% coming back. So because
I I try to maintain mine a lot myself, but if I do need a full blown trim, I go to a guy here in Mansfield. He's a Marine and he runs an old, old school barbershop, Eagle Globe and Anchor. So you go in, he's got the OG chairs, antiques, the signs on the wall, the spinning, deal.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. I got a um I have a little bit of a horror story that I just thought of.
Oh,
So
wow.
I made the mistake of going to I'm not going to name the place. I don't want to shit on them too much, but
Do it.
I'm probably going to do it. So um boardroom salon for men.
Oh, that sounds very chainish.
It is very chainish. So I never heard of them until I came to Texas, and it's like when you walk in, it's like it's very nice when you go in there. Got like the old vintage like seats and stuff like that, and like you were saying, kind of like antique-ish. They didn't actually have antiques in there, but it was older kind of vibe, and but like with a modern feel as well. And I think my I think the place that I normally go to um is called Lower Greenville Barbershop, and for whatever reason I couldn't get a an appointment that day, and I had something going on. I don't really remember what it was. So I get there, and I didn't set up an appointment at boardroom. It was just a walk in. They're like, "Hey, do you mind waiting? It's gonna probably be about an hour." I was like, I didn't have anything going on. I'm pretty positive it was a Monday, and my fiance was working. I was like, I have nothing going on, so
Right.
I'll wait, whatever. So I finally get back there, and sometimes I may not explain things very well. I may have like thought about it, and then I thought that you heard my brain say it. So, you know, so I told the lady what I wanted. I was like, I want to get a fade, a bald fade, and I want you to shape. Keyword. I want you to shape my beard. So, the lady had very, very, very broken English, and
Oh no.
I think she may have heard me say shave. So the first thing she does is go "Ah," right like at the top of my like cheek, and then goes up. So like if I wanted to fade my sideburns into my haircut, you know what? You're shit
They
out of
were
luck
gone.
because that shit
Oh
is
no.
gone. So like I'm not a very angry person, but I audibly went, "What the fuck?" And and she was like, "Whoa, everything like what's wrong?" And I was like, No, I wanted you to to shape up, line up my beard." And I felt so bad for the lady, but I was like, I'm done. I'm so done.
Oh no.
I uh I did not pay for the haircut, but I did tip her because I felt very bad because she had broken English, and I was like, whatever. Let me give me something that's like $2 or whatever, and I'll tip her. And she was like, she felt so bad, and I was like, no,
Oh my gosh.
I'm good. So, and they try to give me like some gift card or something like that because I was so like obviously angry, and I was like,
Right.
no, I was like, I'm not coming back. But
I had to lose my
um,
shit.
yeah, I was pretty pissed. So like when I came back home, my fiance happened to be home, and I was so mad. She was trying to talk to me, and I just wouldn't. I was just seeing red. I was so fucking pissed because I was trying to like fix it to make it look good, and there were just it was too far gone. So I was like, I gotta shave the whole
Oh
thing.
no.
I was so mad, and this happened probably about five months ago, I think.
Okay.
So pretty recently, and yeah. Do not go to a chain unless you are very unless you know someone there that's gonna be do a very
Right.
good job because
Oh
they
my
fucked
god.
my shit up. But no, so speaking of like barbershops, there's a cool spot that was in Cleveland, Tennessee, Bourbon and Blades. Shout out to Dylan. What you got going on, buddy, is super cool. You can come in, you can get a complimentary pour of like whatever bourbon they have in stock that day, or you can have a beer, water, whatever. And it's very rustic, and like it doesn't matter who you go to in there to get your haircut. Like they're gonna be on point with it. It's super cool. They're super
Oh yeah.
friendly. Yeah, and it's just a cool spot. Always love going there to get my haircut because I would just go in there to hang out with them because they're
Right.
so cool. So all right, so we're gonna do the cartel now. I'm getting all giddy now.
You're all worked up. You excited?
Hell yeah, man.
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna use my different glass. You sent me that picture of like all those Glencairns you had, and I was like, "Fuck,
Yeah.
I don't have these." Yeah, look at that little gentleman on the top of it.
Yeah.
That fine chap. Single barrel select, 6 years, cash strength. That's right up my alley, big dog.
Yeah. 120 proof.
Hell yeah. So I got this little. I think my fiance got this for me. It's like a little, like weird looking glass, and you can
Is
like.
that one of those Norlands or whatever they're called?
Sorry, let's rewind again. What were you saying? It
Is that
broke
one
up
of
there
those
for a second.
Norlands? Is that what's the name? A Norland?
I don't know. It doesn't say like what it is on here, but I have no idea. It's just a cool little glass, and like
Yeah.
if you want to be like to do a party trick, you can like put it on its side, and it's still standing
yeah.
up. So
I got one that'll roll around on its side.
hell yeah, yeah. Yesterday, was I texting you about that Heaven Hill 17 year?
Yes.
Was that okay? So I don't think I mentioned this to you yesterday, but so there is a restaurant that is about 4 miles away from our house. It's called Smoky Rose. Have I ever mentioned that place to you?
I don't guess.
Okay,
I don't recall ever hearing about it.
Okay, probably not. So I got to say, probably one of the coolest bourbon bars that I've ever seen. Well, okay, it's up there. It's one of the coolest. So, because I've been to a few in like a lot of other states as well, and it always blows my mind every time I go in there. The types of bottles they have, because it's like shit that you probably will not find. And I remember going in there a couple of weeks back because we had some friends in town. We're like, hey, let's go over here, get some Texas barbecue, because they've never been to Dallas before. So like, let's get some barbecue. It's
Yeah.
So we went there. They got some pretty decent food, and one of my other buddies is kind of into bourbon as well. They're like, hey, let's go over to the bourbon bar. And I noticed they had the Heaven Hill 17 year, and I was like, oh shit. But like we were kind of in a rush, so we didn't really have time to like stay and try that bottle or whatever
Right.
else they had. But yeah, every time I go in there, man, the bottles are just like I'm in heaven. So like they have the Double Eagle Very Rare
I was
in
going to
there,
say,
and
what was
you
that
can
$300 a pour?
no, it's $1,000 a pour.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why would you pay that much for a pour of whiskey unless you're like Mark Cuban? Like,
Yeah.
then again, yeah, it's insane.
that-
but
And that bottle goes for like 20, 25,000. So I mean, get you a pour, treat yourself.
yeah, sure. But yeah, no. So I went in there, and the lady that was at the bar, it was clear that like they were setting up for like a like some sort of event or something like that.
Mm.
But like I sat at the bar, and like the lady was like, hey, how can I help you, and stuff like that. So I assumed like, okay, I'm good. Like I can hang out, whatever. And I was like, hey, do y'all have the Heaven Hill 17 year? Because like I didn't see it on the shelf. I was like low key having a panic attack because I thought they weren't going to have it. And I saw that they had it because like it normally comes in like a blue box,
Right.
Whenever you get it. It wasn't in the box; it was kind of tucked away in the back. And I was like, how much is it for a pour of that? I think it was like $40, $50, $40 or something like that. I don't remember. And I was like, really? And I typically watch this YouTube channel called ADHD Whiskey. His name's Matt Porter. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like to watch his reviews. He's kind of quirky, he's funny, and he was the top whiskey taster of the year at one point, like 2 years back or whatever.
I think I saw a clip of him tasting that, and it looked like he had an orgasm in his mouth.
Yeah, and I was like, and like he'll give a rating, like an overall rating from like 0.0 all the way to 10. And I don't think he's ever rated anything 10 because if he has, then holy shit. But he gave this one a 9.7 out of 10. And I was like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen him rate anything that high.
Wow.
And I was like, I want to go try some now because um, I want to get that bottle for my wedding because I just want to have something that's going to be memorable because obviously this could be a memorable day. But anyways, so I was over at Smoky Rose, asked them for that, and they were like, "Yeah, well, if you get this, you're gonna have to go sit outside." And I was like, "What?" Like, "Yeah, we're having an event." And I was like, "I'm not going outside. I'll come back another day. It's fine." So, needless to say, I didn't try it.
It's 13,000 degrees outside. I'm not going outside.
Yeah, well, they have like misters and stuff like that, but I was like, I don't want to. I just don't want to go outside. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. How funny.
Okay, cartel, I see you.
So that does everything really well.
That's very good. Yeah, I'm glad we saved this one for last. So,
You see, you're welcome.
thank you.
Yeah. So Corey and Chris and Jason and Aaron and I'm forgetting a name. They yeah, they put in some work on that. They did
Yeah,
real good on that.
and that bottle is probably allocated. So, you can't get it anymore until you can, I guess, because you said that
That I
it
don't
may.
know. So that's release number one. So they're gonna I guess they're doing it in releases or batches or whatnot. That's it. That one's that.
Yeah, Jason, Chris, Aaron, whoever you are, good job. This is really good. Yeah, yeah, it tastes really good, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to save that sample for
Mm-hmm.
another good time. So I ended up getting this. Actually, it's this bottle right here. It's Proof and Wood. I don't know if I ever told you about this one, but
I've never even heard of that.
I never heard of it either, really, until I figured out like who made it. I can't remember the guy's name, but
That's a bold statement on the front of that bottle, though.
Proof and Wood, extraordinary American blended whiskey.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, extraordinary, and it had a lot going on for sure. But so the guy did this run. I think owns like Tumbling Dice and
Oh, okay.
like Presidential Dram, like that those you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah. So good stuff. And I'm pretty positive that's like MGP, if I'm not mistaken. But like this is it's like whenever I tasted it at first, I was like, holy like what? Because it's like it is so fucking like oaky and like tobacco-y ish, whatever you want to call it. But the thing that kind of drew me to it was it has a 23-year light whiskey in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, what? But on the back, it says, with the absolute last drops of our 1992 American light whiskey. And they're, yeah, I don't know. I'm making it seem like, I guess, more cool than it really
That
is.
yeah,
But
that's a little aggressive.
yeah. So I like to be aggressive sometimes. Okay.
With
But
the absolute last drops. Come on,
it's,
pull it together.
but yeah, but it's so like, if you can actually see this, like, that's light, right?
It
Like,
is.
yeah, it's super light. And,
I make sweet tea darker than that.
yeah, and I was like, I was a little at first whenever I got it, I was like, that's pretty light. I was like, let me buy it. I tried it and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a bottle that you have to be in a very specific mood for, and you may want to pair it with a cigar. Um, and I feel like you wouldn't really smoke a cigar with every pour of whiskey you have. I could be
Right.
wrong. I don't know, but this is definitely one where you're like, you better light up a stogie. So
And that's how I got into whiskey. I thought I wanted to have, a cigar and a pour and sit on the back porch, but the cigar part didn't take, so
yeah,
I didn't really like it.
yeah, not so much for me either. Like, I mean, I'll have one every now and again if I'm hanging out with a buddy or whatever, but like, I don't just do it by myself. And then like, if I did, I mean, I have done it before, like in the backyard or whatever. If I do come inside, Courtney's like, "You smell like shit. Go take a shower." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I'll leave. Please don't hurt me."
How funny.
Yep. So yeah, man, that is fucking phenomenal. I love this. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're absolutely welcome. It's funny. A lot of these picks that I get, um, especially, I think that Whiskey Bandit number one. I think I shared at least 50% of it.
Really,
And yeah, I mean, it's made to be drunk. So I mean,
I love that. Yep, you're totally right, man. Like whiskey is meant to be shared. It's meant to be drank and stuff. And um, yeah,
so
that's the thing that I like about like the whiskey community is like I haven't met like a piece of shit ever since I've been in this like world. You know, I haven't met a person that's like, fuck you. You like, you can't have any of this stuff.
right
And it's just people from all walks of life. And it's
now,
just so
there's a couple of bottles around that a buddy of mine specifically. I was at his house and we were drinking, we were hanging out, and he was. When you go to his house, it is if it's on the cabinet, it's in the cabinet. Get you some.
yeah.
I was over there one of the like first or second time I was over there. He goes, everything in here you can have some except for this one and this one. I was like, oh, okay, but it was one of like one of those unicorn DFW whiskey club releases that everybody fell in love with. I don't even know if his was opened yet. He was just like, no, you can't have any of that. I've since got to taste someone else's, and it was fan
Yeah.
freaking tastic. So I completely understood where he was coming from. But yeah, there's some they're like, no, you're not. No one's having that. So not just you, no one.
Yeah. Not even me.
Yeah, basically.
That's one thing I can't do, man. Like I can't just like buy like I mean, I guess I just haven't gotten to that point in my life yet where I'm just not going to open a bottle. Like I want to open these bottles and
Right.
enjoy them, man. So, so I just recently bought some more bottles. Surprise, surprise. And I want to say so one, two. I think I got three other bottles that I have not opened yet. One of them is actually right here. This Nelson Brothers, um, Boom Bell Mead. I think bought them,
Oh, okay.
or they're rebranding or something. I don't know, but I heard it was phenomenal. Um, haven't cracked that one open yet, but I got that one. I got that tilted bottle pick
Okay, yeah.
from Clyde Mays, which I actually got right here. Shout out to Tilted Bottle. I haven't actually met the guy in person, but he seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
Clyde Mays is. I have three different bottles of Clyde Mays, and they're all different. They're all different age and whatever, but it's typically MGP, and I have a. They just dropped a Kentucky whiskey not too long ago. I think it's like a 13-year or some shit like that. I don't really know, but all their stuff is so good, and I feel like they're very underrated.
I've seen their bottles. I've seen plenty of picks. I think he's done a couple of picks with them. Um, I don't think I've ever had any of their stuff.
It's I've had two different. So I got three bottles. I've have two of them that I opened. They're both phenomenal. So I'm excited to see what this one tastes like. But this brings me back to what I was saying is like I have a couple of bottles that I haven't opened just because I haven't had the time to get to it yet. So
Right.
I'm not gonna let my stuff sit.
So
I'm not gonna let my stuff sit.
I got a surprise for you.
Okay.
So the other day we were talking about the Smoke Wagon Rye
Okay.
that everybody's gone crazy about, and we were talking about that dude that was already flipping his.
Yeah.
So they're hard to find, obviously.
Yeah.
So Smoke Wagon did a deal where they sent out emails and you could sign up to go in and possibly win an opportunity to buy a bottle direct from Smoke Wagon.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
So I got an email Friday that I won one of the spots.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So that bottle is not inexpensive. I think it's $200. Actually, they sent me the invoice. I have until tomorrow at 5 to send my order that yes, I want to buy this bottle.
Yeah.
$214.
Hell yeah.
Would you like to go in halves and split that bottle with me? I've got an empty 375 that we can split that
Yes, 100%. We're doing it.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Hell, that's so
I've been
cool, man.
hanging on to that since Friday.
Needed some content, so you added it in
Yeah,
there.
for
But
sure. We're gonna save it for the big show.
yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, oh, it's funny how like whenever I found out that it was dropping at Specs here in Dallas,
Mhm.
I was working. I think it was this past Thursday, and I'm sure Tilted Bottle is very strategic as far as like when he's going to post stuff, whatever. Maybe he's not. I don't know his game plan with like the way he's marketing his brand, but
Right.
um, yeah, he made like a little reel on Instagram, and he has a TikTok as well. He put it on
Mhm.
there also, and you can see like the little guns that are crossing, and they were green. And I was like, oh fuck, they got the rye, they got the smoke wagon rye, and he pulled it out, and he was like, first come, first serve, whatever. Gave the little spiel of like what the smoke wagon rye was all about.
Gone
So,
in like 5 minutes.
dude, yeah, I text Courtney, and I was like, look, I already know that you went to Siegel's because you told me about Siegel's because of the
Mhm.
like they were slashing their prices. I was like, can you go to Siegel's? I'm looking for whatever. Let me know what they got. Blah blah blah. And like 20 minutes later, I'm like, I love you. Can you go to Specs? Can you go to Specs? And she was like, what are you looking for? And I told her, and like, yeah, less than 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
like I saw his Instagram. It said sold out. And I was like, fuck. Oh well. But yeah, man, no, that's so cool. I'm glad that you have the opportunity to actually buy one. Don't forget to buy it, man.
Yeah, no, yeah, I gotta do that here in a little while, but
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure. Yeah, it's funny, I got the email and I'm like, I completely forgot I signed up for it because it was like last week, week and a half ago. Completely forgot about it. I get the email and I'm like, okay, so I take a screenshot and I go to the Smoke Wagon enthusiast page on Facebook, which Aaron is part of.
Okay.
So I posted in there. And I'm like, is this legit? I just got this email. And everybody was like, yeah, that's usually where I get my emails from. That's usually the email I get my address from. And then Aaron comes in, he goes, yes, or the raffle for the spots, that's where you're going to be getting notified from. And I'm like, hell yeah. It's legit. I don't have to send that to the spam folder.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. Because Smoke Wagon is so good, and I've had the uncut unfiltered, which
Mhm.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I ended up grabbing one of the uncut the youngers, which is it's good, but it's not as good as the
Right.
uncut unfiltered. It's just a little bit more of a affordable bottle
For
if you
sure.
can even find it. But
Yeah.
um, I got the small batch, which is good, and then like the straight bourbon whiskey. I think that's all that I've tried from them, if I'm not
At,
mistaken.
at one point, I had 7 or 8 different Smoke Wagon bottles in my bar.
Oh damn.
I had the Halloween bottle. I had the first 4th of July bottle. I probably had a regular straight bourbon. I had like 2 uncuts, one in a brown bottle, one in a clear bottle, 2 small batches, one in a brown bottle, one in a clear bottle. Like I had all kinds of shit.
It's good stuff, man.
It
And
is. It is.
it's MGP, right? Or it used to be or something?
Yeah. Yeah. He
Okay.
apparently he bought a lot. Like he bought like some special barrels from them.
Okay.
Like some of the like I think he got a hold of I think he was saying like the first 10 or 20 like bottles or barrels they ever did. I think that's what it was. So I mean like he got some like special barrels that he was blending.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see like what he's doing because I mean he seems like a fun ass dude. Like I would love to hang out
Right.
with that guy. But it was like because whenever I found out about it, I found out about excuse me, I found out about Smoke Wagon through a buddy of mine that I work with. Shout out to Adam. I instantly connected with him through bourbon. He was like one of the first people that I met whenever I came to Texas that I connected with through bourbon. And he was like,
Right.
You ever heard of Smoke Wagon?" And it's funny because we always make a joke about Aaron. If you ever see this, I'm just joking. It's kind of funny, but um, we always call it uncut, uncircumcised.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's it's just I'm just stupid and I just like to make jokes like that. But yeah, we would he told me about the bottle and I finally found one and I tried it and I was like, damn, dude, yeah, you weren't lying. This stuff is so good. And he also makes vodka. The silver dollar
Mhm.
vodka. You get it for like $20 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not a big vodka guy, but Because if you drink vodka straight, you're a murderer. All right.
Right.
So, I mean, the only time I drink vodka is like if I'm drinking like a Bloody Mary or something.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So I saw that Fred Minnick had a particular pick with Smoke Wagon, and somehow ADHD whiskey got like a 1 ounce pour, 2 ounce pour, or something like that, and reviewed it on his channel. And it was kind of similar to like the Heaven Hill 17. Like he almost had like an orgasm whenever
Yeah.
he was drinking it. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And it was one of those like rare and limited
Right.
smoke wagons,
But you
which
never had any of those?
yeah. So like I don't think I've ever even seen one in like a bar
Never.
or anything like that. And it's I guess they live by their name. They're rare and limited.
Right.
So
Yeah, a couple. So it's been, I think it was 2 years ago, right at the beginning of Smoke Wagon's ascension. They were doing the private selections, which was the red dot, the red
yeah.
red wax with the white label,
Yeah.
and Specs did one.
Oh really?
Yeah, so it's now become infamous in the area for what happened. So, like I said, it was like at the beginning of their rise. So, I mean, not a lot of people knew, but like the whiskey people knew that Smoke Wagon was coming up. So on a Friday, it goes out. They release this bottle, limited special release or something.
Yeah.
And so it's like one per person. The rules.
Yeah.
Well, it got out that they didn't sell a lot Friday. So on Saturday, it was free for all, unlimited bottles.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So a lot of people, not going to name names, go up and they're buying cases of this shit because they're not stopping them. Well, it goes around on all the forums, all the whiskey sites, all the Facebooks, about, oh, you sons of bitches, you bought it all up. I was in line and I'll see you walking out with 5 cases and blah, blah, blah. Well, one of the guys that ended up with a lot of those sold me one. I never had it. And he's like, hey, do you want one? I'm like, absolutely. I've never had it. I'd love to have one. I didn't like 3/4 of that bottle.
Really?
Yeah. And it was my first Smoke Wagon. So I didn't know anything about it. But it was just like, it's not sitting. And I get down to about here and it's like, damn, this is good. And I done drank over 90% of it and didn't even like it.
That's the weird thing about like drinking whiskey. Like you can think something tastes like, I'm gonna use a different word besides monkey butthole, like eagle shit. So
bald eagle shit, because that's patriotic.
Hell yeah, man, America.
Since we were talking about it, I'm gonna give me some of that. Younger.
Oh, you got the uncut the younger. Yeah, I forgot you got about all that.
Give me some of that.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think
it's very fruit heavy to me.
Yes, yeah, and I think the finish, there's really no finish. I could be wrong. I feel like it didn't really have like a lasting finish, but I thought it was very good. Very good.
It's definitely tasty.
Oh yeah. So I know I had tagged you in something in Instagram a couple weeks back in regards to like, if you could only pick like 3 bottles in your collection, what would it be? But so if you had to pick one bottle to pick and everything else is, your wife is pouring that shit down the fucking drain.
So luckily I don't have a wife.
Okay.
So we don't have to play this game.
Hell yeah.
I'm just kidding. So we're talking like shelf, you can go to the store and get it, or
no, it's anything that's in your collection that you can keep and it's only one bottle. What would it be? That's tough. I know.
That is tough because like I really like that Cartel, but I mean
sorry, Trinity River, but we're picking something else.
But I mean,
okay. Antique 107.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
it
does everything right. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm there with you, man. It's so good. It's so good. I was so excited because I got that my first bottle this past Christmas. My fiance got it for me through one of her friends.
I mean, there's it's just so good. No,
you got so many of them. So I want to ask you, because you were telling me about your little bar setup.
Yeah,
So because you were telling, I never heard of it until you had mentioned it, but magnetic. I can't even talk.
magnetic paint. Yes,
There you go.
yes. My girl is all about this kind of stuff. She's got a mind for it. She's amazing with it. Like
Yeah,
this is her. Like this is my area, but she did all this.
that's cool, man.
Yeah. So this paint on this board here is magnetic paint. It's 3 coats. I guess it's just heavy with magnetized metal,
Huh.
and it's a pain in the ass to work with. Like it kept wanting to clump up. You're trying to brush it on. We probably should have used a roller, but we were going with a brush.
Okay.
But yeah, so this little uh whiskey cartel sticker, it's like it's got a magnet clip holding it up there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Are you into cooking as well? Because I mean, I
Oh
see
my
you got.
god, dude. Um
Well, because I know
that
you.
that
I
could
know.
be a whole nother podcast.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to come back on at some point. We'll talk. We'll
but
talk about cooking.
but yeah, I've there's a sign. She made a sign. It's above the sink. It says David's Kitchen. Like this is my domain. This is where I thrive. This is what I love. I love um, showing my love to people through my food.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I mean, I've got a 36-inch Blackstone griddle outside. I got a 22-inch Weber kettle. I got a full blown wood smoker. You know, on top of a regular kitchen. You know, appliances. I've got sous vide machine. I've got a steamer. I got my own KitchenAid mixer. Like all of all this shit.
No, it's funny. Well, I should have. Yeah, well, yeah, I should have known that you enjoyed cooking because you told me about it before. But like, I didn't really understand like the depth in which to like
Yes.
really enjoyed it. So that makes sense that you enjoyed that episode with Elise with Coppage Kitchen.
Yes.
Shout out to Elise. I need to hire you to come over to my house and cook one night for Courtney and I. So yeah, she's doing cool shit. But yeah, man,
Yeah, that one.
I love some good food, and
Yeah.
I need
I'll
to, I need I need to try
have a
some more
hashtag
food.
I do in a lot of my stuff. It's smoke all the things.
Okay.
So I mean, it's more than just meats. I mean, I smoke Cheez-Its, I smoke goldfish, I smoke salt, I smoke water, I smoke cheese, like everything. Just put some
What
smoke on it.
what about would you be able to smoke a cake? That's different.
So what you would possibly do in that instance is you would cold smoke one of the ingredients
Okay.
that you're making it with. So like I'm thinking you would possibly put a smoke to the dry batter before you mix everything. That way, as you make it, the smoke comes out through the entire thing.
I the reason I asked about that is because I have a friend that enjoys grilling, smoking, and stuff like that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna smoke a cake," and I'm like, "How the fuck can you smoke a cake? Is it gonna melt?" So
Well, so a lot of times, and then I mean, so a lot of like the pellet grills, the Traegers, and those such. I mean, people are baking in those, so I mean, you can make pies in those. He could probably bake the cake and then assemble it and ice it later. So I mean, he could probably bake the cake itself in like one of those Traeger type pellet grills.
okay, that's interesting. I know nothing about cooking, so it's pretty interesting. Yeah, you need to do that one day, like today.
Like today, I'm just chilling today.
Yeah, I feel that. I ain't cooking shit. I got
Yeah.
some leftover sushi in my fridge that I'm gonna eat later. I love
Is that
sushi,
safe?
so
Is that safe? Leftover sushi? Is that?
hey man, it's not gas station sushi, so it'll be fine.
No, I'm not. I wasn't trying to suggest you got it from a janky place. I'm just the leftover detail of leftover sushi.
It's still fresh.
Okay, all right,
No, I
fresh-ish.
Yeah, people are gonna hate on me, but I woke up this morning and that's what I ate for breakfast. Was like part of the sushi. It was weird, but I wanted some sushi and
But
that's
hey,
what I ate this morning. So,
and that if that's what you want, man, that's what you want.
but no, man, oh man, if I could pick any food to eat and that's the only food I could eat for the rest of my life, I always do these what if scenarios where like you can only choose one thing.
Yeah.
It would be sushi for sure. And there is a restaurant called Oishi, another restaurant kind of close to our house. It's probably hands down some of the best sushi I've ever had in my life. It's I mean, if you're going to a sushi joint, you're going to pay out the ass for
Right.
sushi. It's just how it is. And oh my god, it's so good. And there is a I forget the type of restaurant that it's called, but it's like a tasting restaurant, if you will. It's called Tatsu. It just opened up here in Dallas about 2 months ago or so,
I think I've
and
heard of the name.
it's a like a very limited amount of people can be in the restaurant at once, like maybe 8 or 10 or something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
And it's a very like exclusive type of experience. Like you're with the chef, he's in front of you, and it's kind of hibachi style. I put that in quotes, but it's for sushi.
That sounds like some
And
Captain Couch shit. What are you talking about?
yeah, I don't even what the hell is Captain Couch?
Casting
Oh,
couch.
casting couch. Oh yeah. If you want to make it in this industry, baby, you gotta let's go. Let's get it. So
Hang out with the chef.
but it's very expensive. And I think it's like maybe like $160 per person. So that, pretty hefty
Right.
price, but it seems very cool. And at some point, I definitely want to go up there. My fiance is not really too keen on sushi. She'll eat it every once in a while. I think I'm kind of getting her into it a little bit more, but she's not really too interested in having sushi. But at
Yeah.
some point, Courtney, we're going there, and yeah. So
Funny.
it's it's kind of the same thing with like wine. Like, there's some bottles that I do like that she has that I'm like, I could probably drink that, but like generally speaking, I'm like, I can kind of do without it. Bourbon's more my
I'm
jam,
a
my speed.
I'm a Yano Estacado sweet red, $6 at the bottom of the shelf over in Albertsons type of wine.
You're more of a winking owl kind of guy from Aldi, if you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. So I don't think Aldi's a thing around here in Texas, but
There's some.
are there? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I bought a box of wine from there. It was like $10, and their bottles are like $2 in there, and I was like, this stuff's so good, but I was just hammered. So,
I've
um,
done it. I've sat in the living room with a bottle of Riesling playing Call of Duty, and next thing I know, I'm hammered. Didn't
oh,
even mean to do it.
I love Call. I didn't know you played. Wait, I don't ever remember talking about it, but I didn't know you were kind of into video games. But
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
yeah,
I
Call of
used to
Duty.
be.
Sorry, go ahead.
I used to be in a clan. Like we were. It was called the Night Crew Clan, and it was a bunch of older guys that we got on to play. Basically, we didn't start until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night because that's when family went to bed, and that was our free time.
Yeah.
So I mean, we had people. We had like 300 members. We had people in New Zealand, London, um, a lot of people from the states. Like I'm still friends. It's funny. It turns out the guy that used to run the forum that we were on lives in Crowley, which is
Oh wow. Yeah.
25 minutes from me.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And so we're in this thing where we become friends, over video games and online, since 2011. Now we go fishing. We haven't been in a while, but now we go fishing together and stuff. And there's a funny story. Some of my family, one of my dad's cousins, one of their kids was setting records or whatever in his high school in athletics, some kind of box jump record or something. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Well, here, like the next week, my buddy's posting the link to the news story in this group chat that we're in. And I'm like, why are you posting this link? Like, that's my dad's cousins. And he's like, oh, that's my wife's aunt. It's like, get the fuck, we've been friends since 2011 and we're like cousins by marriage or some shit. It's like, how does this even work?
That is so crazy.
Yeah. So my dad's cousin is married to his wife's aunt.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like,
dude, the world's fucking crazy, man.
It is. It's so nuts. But yeah. So now we're like third cousins by marriage or some shit is what we've put a title to it.
Yeah, I don't have any crazy stories like that, but back in 2012, a buddy of mine, Justin, he just recently got married, just had a kid and stuff like that. Congratulations, by the way, bud. Love you. We went to New Orleans for the first time, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned that to you before. I'm originally from New Orleans,
Mhm.
and we were still in college at the time, and I was like, hey, let's go down there, let's party, let's have some fun. And we're walking on Bourbon Street, and he's from New York. And him and I went to college in Tennessee.
Okay.
That's how we met. And we're walking down Bourbon Street, and he's like, all of a sudden, just like, holy shit. And like, he's like, hey, and he starts talking to this couple, and it ends up being like his teachers from high school. And I'm like, what?
Oh, how fun.
So it's like, the world is, shits can be crazy. Like your situation with what you just explained, like that is fucking bonkers, man.
Yeah. It's like, how is that even possible?
Yeah. So
It's so fun.
yeah. But what were we talking about before that?
We were into Call of Duty talking about
That's
video
right.
games.
That's right.
Yeah.
So video games. So yeah, I used to love Call of Duty, man. Like back whenever I was a freshman in college, I stayed in this dorm where we had like a common area. Like we had all our little apartment style little rooms or whatever, and had the common area. You got like a pool table, couches, TV, whatnot. And we had a TV that was kind of like, it was a widescreen TV, but it was one of those ones that was like, one of those big fat ass ones from like the early 2000s. Yeah. So we would play Call of Duty. We wouldn't play it online, but like we would play with each other, and we would put a cardboard
for the split screen.
We would have a split screen, but put a cardboard cutout in between both of them to play. And like, dude, that was so fucking fun, man.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And dude, Call of Duty was my shit for the longest time, but I would play Rocket League. I don't know if you're familiar with that game or not.
I know what it is. I've never played it, but yeah, I know.
Dude, that was my shit for probably about 7 years.
Oh wow.
And I started playing it whenever it used to be called like Super Rocket Extra something car. The name of the game used to be called something different. They just they rebranded themselves, and I was so into it that like my friends that I played with in the town that I grew up in, and the people that we would play online with, we actually went to Atlanta to go to one of the video game conventions.
Oh, nice.
And to like watch the professionals play. And whenever I say professionals, dude, these guys were like 14. And at the time, I'm like 24 or whatever. And I'm like, y'all are making more money than I am, and you're 2. Like, how is this happening?
Yeah. Those guys that got into there and worked that amaze me, the amount of money they make.
Yeah.
To play. I mean, I know they go to work just like we do, but they're playing video games.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was so cool to just be there and like, watch, because they had it all on like this big screen, and you're watching them do their thing and stuff, and it was just so cool. But like, they had other video game professionals there as well, like for Tekken, Street Fighter,
right? Street Fighter. Oh my god,
I want to say Call of Duty professionals were there as well, and then like Rainbow Six Siege people playing those games, and they had. I know you're a Star Wars fan, right?
Not really.
No. Does it not say something about Star Wars in your Instagram bio, or am I crazy? So it does. I'm not crazy. What does it say?
No, it does. It does, but I'm not a fan. So
okay.
The same church that I am ordained through, you can get a Jedi certificate. So
that is awesome.
So a buddy of mine in Arkansas goes online and fills out the deal, and he sends it to me. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I didn't order. It's like, this is like from the church that I'm ordained through. Like, what is this? I open it up and it's like, this is to certify that David Logan is a Jedi of the highest order and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this dude's a mess. I love it. So yeah, so I am an ordained Jedi Knight.
Damn. That's that's pretty fucking interesting.
But outside of Darth Vader, Maul, and Luke Skywalker, I don't know shit about Star Wars.
Okay, I got you. So I just realized that little high pitched laugh that I just had was insane. I'm sorry for everyone that was listening if your ears are bleeding, but that just means that shit was fucking hilarious. Because whenever I think something's funny, I laugh like that. So,
That's funny.
but no, so there's this like, oh, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but there's some sort of like Star Wars like group of people that do some sort of charity, but they dress up like stormtroopers. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but those type of people were there,
Okay.
and like I walked in and like I thought I was getting ready to get fucking killed and thrown into space because there were so many different stormtroopers everywhere, and I'm
So
like,
from what I understand is they would have missed you. They would not have actually shot you.
the problem with me is that, you know, if I ever did go to war, you would think like, oh, like you're probably gonna kick some ass because you're 6'8" and you're a big boy. Well, no, I'm gonna be the first one shot because I'm 6'8" and my head's gonna blow up. Thanks. So
You're the biggest target in the room.
exactly. So yeah, yeah, no, but that's gonna bug me, man. I can't remember what that was called, but nonetheless, it was cool to go to that convention. I've never been back to a video game convention since, but it was fun just to kind of experience something different like that.
If I'm correct in this, over by the ballpark in Arlington where the Rangers play,
Yeah,
the old Arlington Convention Center is now the esports auditorium.
really.
So yeah, because there some of the investors in the Rangers got real big into some of the video games and some of the actual organizations that are running pro teams. So they turned that into an actual esports, like several times a year. They're holding like tournaments
That is
inside that
so
building.
cool. That's so cool. Do you okay? So do you remember the? I don't think it's a thing anymore, but it's Electronic Arts.
EA, yeah,
Yeah, so EA Sports. It's in
right,
the game. That like that's my childhood right there.
right.
I've always thought it'd be very interesting to be like a voice actor. I don't know if I have like I kind of feel like I have like I can make some funny voices or whatever, but like I thought that would always be like very cool to do.
That would be fun.
It's kind of like it reminds me of you know Bob Minery.
Yes.
Dude, that dude's voice is yes, and his voiceovers and just like shit that happens in life in general is so hilarious.
Yeah.
So for everyone that does not know who Bob Minery is, you need to search him up on Instagram at Bob Minery. I think it's like Menery, whatever, and it's pretty much like what a commentator would prefer to say, or like
Right.
yeah, and it's kind of
If we were commentators, it would be the kind of shit we'd say. But he has the commentator voice. He's got the boastful. Oh my god, he's at the 10. He's at the 5.
yeah.
Oh, he got fucking drop kicked. You know, shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got that shit on pat, and
Yeah.
it's super
He's
cool
pretty
to
good.
see. Yeah, and I think he's actually, you know, I follow him on Instagram, obviously, and I think he's like, you know, he just branched off from the Full Send podcast. I don't know if you know anything about that, but and he's doing his own thing, Ripper Magoo's,
Yep.
and I think he's like also doing some like acting gigs with they're remaking Roundhouse. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think it's called Roundhouse.
Oh, Roadhouse. Yes.
Excuse me, Roadhouse. Fucking
Yeah. I saw that Conor McGregor is supposed to be in it.
Conor McGregor, Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't remember who else, but I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool, man. So yeah.
Patrick Swayze, who was in Ghost, is going to come back as a ghost and haunt and haunt that whole situation. They should not be fucking with that movie.
Yeah, there are certain movies that you should not remake, like
Like all of
whatsoever.
them, leave them alone. Come up with your own ideas.
Yeah,
Shit.
that's the problem. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I can go make a movie or anything like that. But like, if as a person that enjoys entertainment, um, there's a lot of movies that you should not remake. Just like you were saying, just leave it the fuck alone. But there's one movie that I think that was very, very genius. Was Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I don't know if you've ever seen that or not, but
So that's them remaking their movie.
they're making fun of Hollywood. The whole
Right.
point of it was to make fun of Hollywood because of all the reboots that they
Right.
make.
Right.
So yeah, and I thought that was like a cool take on that whole
Yeah.
that whole conversation. But
Leave
yeah,
them alone. I mean, you can't so it's funny. I watched Roadhouse the other day. Like I come home, I think the power was out at the new job, so they were like, "Yeah, go on, go home."
damn.
Yeah. So I get home and I'm going through the channels and Roadhouse is on TV and I'm like, "Fuck it, click. Let's watch some Roadhouse." And I get Sharisa gets home and she's looking at it. She's like, "Did you mean to watch Roadhouse today?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was on there, so I watched it." And so we got to talk about it. And it's like that is one of the best awful movies ever made. That movie is stupid. It sucks, but it is such a great movie.
So I was talking to someone, and it could have been just like I was talking to myself. I don't remember, but I was thinking about it maybe. But what's interesting is like you got movies. So I don't know how old you are, but I'm 31, and
43.
You said 43.
43. I'm old as shit.
Got that 43-year-old beard, man. It's looking good. But so growing up, 90s era, whether it be like, the culture of like basketball, just, 90s alternative stuff.
Right.
That's my shit, because, I was born 91, didn't necessarily grow up and form as an adult in that decade,
Right.
but like, it's a very interesting decade for me. And, like, so Mortal Kombat, it's a video game. They made a movie based off the video
Yeah,
game. And like,
absolutely.
and back then, watching it, I'm like, this movie's so cool. A
But-
couple
and
years
they,
back. Say again.
and they did way better than the Street Fighter movie.
Oh, dude, the Street Fighter movie was terrible. They didn't even have, dude, Ryu wasn't even in the movie. It was Guile. Who cares about Guile? Yeah, cool. He's got a cool haircut, but
Right.
but
But yeah, the Mortal Kombat movie was actually wild.
yeah, and back then, little kid, your mind's fucking mush. You're like, everything's fucking. You don't know what to think about anything. But like, I remember watching that as a kid, thinking it was amazing. Couple years back, I'm like, I want to watch Mortal Kombat. That was a super cool movie, and I rewatched it. I'm like, damn, this shit sucks. So
Yeah.
it's isn't that a weird thing? Like that is such a weird concept to think like, you thought shit was super cool growing up, which it was, but
Yeah.
like
And
it's
and then you also think about, the advancements in the film industry to this point, and you go back and you watch how they were making movies then, you're like, well, that's awful. Like how did they even put this on screen? That is what the fuck.
yeah.
But that, like you said, when you get home from pumping quarters in the arcade game all day and Mortal Kombat comes on the TV, you're like, it's Liu fucking Kang.
Hell
Let's go.
They did well, coming back to remakes. I guess they remade it, but they made another Mortal Kombat like a couple of years back, and I thought overall the movie was not that great, but I thought the first little like 5-minute scene with Scorpion and I guess it was Scorpion before he like turned into like some fucking skeletal demon or whatever. He's fighting off these ninjas or whatever the hell he was fighting off, and like his wife was there. Like I thought that fighting scene was so fucking cool. But yeah, so coming back to like movies that or terrible, but it made me think of why can I not think of that movie? Roadhouse, right? That's the movie that
Mhm.
you were okay.
Yes,
I kept wanting to say Roundhouse for
you
some
did say
reason,
round.
but yeah, I did. Well, I
I
did
mean,
before.
he threw a couple of roundhouses in the movie.
That's why I kept saying it because Family Guy made fun of Roadhouse,
Oh, okay.
and Peter would be like Roadhouse. You know what I'm talking about? And he
Yeah.
would like do like a yeah. Anyways, now I can't fucking remember what I was gonna say. God damn it. There was another movie that was terrible. Oh, Bloodsport. Yeah, have you seen that?
Listen, the original Jean-Claude Van Damme Bloodsport.
Yes.
I won't
I,
allow you to sit on that movie. I won't let you do it.
I didn't think it was that great.
Oh my god,
I thought it was cheesy as fuck, man.
it is. It's super cheesy. It's so cheesy. But
It's a classic though.
at that time, you're like,
Yes.
oh my god, he's gonna kick everyone's ass. This is amazing, and he does. He does. Blinded by whatever kind of powder the old dude chunked in his eyes. He was a badass.
Speaking of powder being thrown into people's eyes, Karate Kid. Now, Caruso. What's that guy? What's the guy's the character's name? Caruso. Danny Caruso. That's his name in the Karate Kid.
Maybe Daniel's son.
Yeah,
Daniel.
Daniel Caruso. I'm pretty
I
sure
think
that's his
so.
name.
Yeah.
So, if you really think about it, he's considered the protagonist in the movie, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then the antagonist is I can't remember the guy's name. The
I can't
blonde-headed
remember
kid,
it.
blonde-headed kid, dressed up as like the skeleton in one of the movies, whatever.
So don't they in I've not watched any of Cobra Kai. But don't isn't that the twist that they
Yeah,
make in Cobra Kai that
yeah,
Daniel was actually bad guy?
yeah. It's kind of like he's more of like the dick in the movie, or excuse me, in the TV show. And God, what is that fucking guy's name? I am having a brain fart right now, everybody.
Johnny?
Johnny, yes. So
You
Johnny
want to know how you want to
from
know how I got that?
how'd you get it?
It went through my head. Put him in a body bag, Johnny.
That's right. Oh, you know what's fucking crazy about that is that I think so they killed off that guy in the in the TV show, but
Oh,
but he
really?
but he actually died in real life,
Oh shit.
which is why they did that. Which was like very
Oh wow.
like a very obviously a very like famous like scene. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because my brother brought that to my attention one day and I was like, damn, that's fucked up. So
Yeah.
but, yeah, but yeah, no. So Johnny is pretty much like the protagonist in the TV show.
Right.
But he's kind of like worrying about what happened whenever he got his ass kicked in the movies because it's like 20 years later, and you're like, dude, get a fucking over it, man. So,
Right. For
but
sure.
but no, like if you think about it, like in the movies, like Daniel was kind of a piece of shit. If you really
Yeah,
like,
he showed up from out of town and took the cool guy's girl and caused all kinds of shit. So I mean, I can completely see if you look at it that way.
yeah, yeah. So you
How
fucking
funny.
Danny, you're a piece of shit, man. Like,
Yeah. You.
I
Daniel
can't.
San. Oh
Yeah,
motherfucker.
I don't even know what your real. I can't remember your real name. I can't remember anybody's names right now.
Ralph
Apparently,
Macchio.
Ralph Mod. You know what, Ralph? You know what? Fuck you, man. I'm just kidding. I love you, man. Don't beat me up. So,
You know, he cussing out the real life guy. Like
no, he seems like a really cool dude, and yeah,
he
the
looks
Cobra.
insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's like he's aging very well, and
Yeah.
like if you get the chance, man, the TV show is actually not that bad. It's pretty good. A couple of cheesy parts here and there, whatever, but
Right.
like I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty cool. It's a whole new generation of people and
Yeah.
cool.
I thought
things,
about trying to watch it, but I really wasn't that much of a Karate Kid fan to get into it, so I didn't.
Yeah, I can't really say that I am either, but like, so one thing that I kind of connect with my brother is comic books. So
Okay.
obviously back here I got a
That's
little Spider-Man
good
comic book
Spidey
right
back
there.
yeah.
Spider-Man hanging upside down and stuff like that. But like, growing up, um, I collected comic books, and I've spoke on this before on the podcast with one of my last guests in regards to like how I got it started, or how I started my collection and stuff like that. It was pretty much like the Cliff's Notes is like my mom brought me to antique stores. That's kind of how I started getting my
Okay.
collection getting my collection started, and that's one thing that we've connected on over the years is collecting comic books, and it's not so much just collecting them. It's like, okay, understanding like, are you getting a certain issue that's a key issue? Is it a first appearance of like Venom or something like that, or
Right.
Spider, or like or Spider Man? And if you got the first appearance of Spider Man, like, dude, that's
Right.
a lot of money. But and then like taking those comic books and getting them graded through a certain type of company, and they're grading it
Right.
based on the condition, stuff like that. So like, I've always been interested in, like, comic books have always been a part of my life, and I don't really have my collection like I used to, and it kind of sucks because I look back and I see what I had, and I realize how much they're worth now, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
why did I sell that? It it's crazy how like mainstream and like how the market and how the entertainment industry, pop culture, whatever you want to call
Mhm.
it, has made like that type of stuff like
Yeah.
so valuable now, man.
I was talking
Crazy.
I was talking similarly to that with my son the other day. We were talking about original Nintendo
Oh yeah.
and how, I had that. I had the Power Glove. I had
Oh really?
yes,
Oh, that's so cool.
and that track and field game or whatever that is supposed to be the most highly valuable game. I can't even remember which one it was. He's like,
Arena,
he's like,
yeah.
did you have it? And I'm like, I can't remember if I had it or not. I had a track and field game. And we had the mat that you laid out on the floor, that had the sensors so you could actually run while you're doing track and field. He's like, no way. And we're Googling it and we're looking at it. It's like you look back and like if I had that game, like it's worth I think several $1,000s or something now. And like I don't know if I had it, but it's long gone. Like
Well,
how do you know to keep those things?
yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't know about that stuff like when you're
Yeah.
growing up, but like, that's so weird that you bring that up because earlier, like this morning, you know, I'm very bad about this, but I need to stop doing it. Like, you wake up, initially, the first thing you do, grab for your phone. Let me see who liked my stuff on Instagram this morning. I need to get out of that habit. It's a very unhealthy thing, but um, I'm scrolling through, and there is a company that does something similar with the comic books where they grade
Yeah.
video games and stuff like that.
Oh,
That
okay.
that video game that you're talking about was one of the video games that I saw this morning
Oh,
on
how funny.
some video, and the price tag for the game was
Oh my
$35,000.
God.
And it was like it had the box and everything and the actual cartridge inside, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my
Like
god.
I could have had I don't know. I don't remember what it was called.
It,
I remember shooting the shit out of the dog on Duck Hunt. I don't remember what.
that was such a fun game, man. Those were the days. That was so like that. Like, God, those games were so fun.
Oh yeah,
Oh my gosh, I played so many different games growing up because like my brother, he just turned 40 this past June, and obviously big age gap there, and he was in the 90s, like he was collecting like Sega Genesis games, old Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all that stuff.
yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think he still has it to this day. If I'm pretty positive he does. But one of my favorite games all time is Final Fantasy VII. I don't
I
know if you
never
ever.
got into those.
So RPGs are very hard to get into, but like specifically Final Fantasy VII was so fun, and it was such a good game that actually they remade that specific one for PlayStation 4 and 5. And originally the game came with 2 discs because it was such a long game.
Yeah.
And whenever I first got the game, the remake, I was thinking like, man, this could be so cool. Like, it was mind you, it's a very cool game, but like they did the same thing. They got
Uh,
they made it to where it's gonna be 2 parts, and I played it up until the half part of the game, the middle portion of the game, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to wait a couple more years for the second part to come out now." I'm like, "Dude, the game came out in 1997, and they released it in 2020, late 2020, if I'm not mistaken." And I'm like, "Dude, you're gonna make me wait this fuck you guys, I hate you."
oh, that's
So,
funny.
yeah,
That's ridiculous.
but anyways, I digress. I
What did
appreciate.
you what did you just crack open?
Oh, I did not even tell you. I just cracked open the tilted
Oh,
bottle.
okay.
Quick. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is. I took a little bit of a sip of it. I need to take another sip, but I-
Yeah, I saw you over there
yeah, I was like using my
giggling with
thumb
it.
to try to open it up, and it was not.
I do want to give a shout out real quick to the Oak Cliff whiskey addicts, since it's like a parody whiskey club of the Four Roses Mellow Moments.
Okay. Wait, Four Roses. What moments?
Mellow Moments.
I don't think I've ever even heard of it.
Yeah, so Four Roses has like you sign up for it, you become a member type deal. It's Four Roses Mellow Moments, and they give
Okay.
you like a pin
Okay.
and all
Cool.
that. So like you can get invited to special things they do at the distillery, and you can be part of a barrel pick that's just for those members and stuff like that. Well, some of the local whiskey club guys decided they were going to basically make a parody group. So it's the Oak Cliff Smooth Occasions Club.
Okay. All right. I see you, Oak Cliff.
So it's a parody Oak Cliff whiskey. It's sold in like all the Total Wines and other stores. It's not very good. It's bottom shelf.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
haven't.
yeah,
Yeah. So
I
it's
wanted to wear this shirt for the podcast, but I've been sitting here looking at it going, I'm not high enough.
Wait, so
So I wanted to,
that's a parody like thing. The Oak
yeah,
Cliff, like, so like they don't even give a fuck like how like shitty their whiskey is.
it has nothing to do officially with the whiskey.
Okay.
This is like a fan club.
Okay. So I just shitted on their whiskey without knowing that I shitted on their whiskey.
No, that's the whole point of the club is to shit on the whiskey.
Okay. So yeah, because there's like a little sale table as soon as you walk into the store that my local shop that I go into to get whiskey. Excuse me. And they have it's like sale $14, and I'm like $14. Like if you're gonna pay that much for whiskey, it's probably not gonna be that good. And it's funny because like I've always seen it in there because they got like a red label because it's all if I'm not mistaken, I think it's all like flavored whiskey from what I've
They
seen.
have a lot of flavors. They have they have like some cat strength and just regular stuff, but it's like you said, it's $14.
Yeah, and I've seen it in there, and I'm like, I'm not really big into flavored whiskey. It's a very particular type of market,
For
but
sure.
so a buddy of mine, he owns a whiskey company based here in Dallas. It's a Mossy Horn whiskey.
Okay.
Shout out to you, bud. Garrett, love you. Keep doing what you're doing.
I think I follow one or two of their social medias. I can't remember.
Yeah, and he's a very cool guy, man. It's funny because like it's the same kind of the same dynamic of the relationship that we have. Is like I never actually met you in person,
How funny.
and I had him come on the podcast, and I just met him this past Friday. He went up to the it's Lucky Liquor, the liquor store that I always go to. He was doing a tasting up there. I finally met him, and I think he actually may know the people that started that Oak Cliff thing that you were talking about. And he was like, "Yeah, their whiskey sucks," and I was like, "Yeah, it probably does since it's on that little sales table." But yeah, it was funny. But Mossy Horn whiskey is like. It definitely grew on me, and I think it's very good, and I think it's very cool to see like kind of what it is that he's doing because I don't know a lot of people in the industry,
Right.
and to see someone kind of starting their own brand, it takes a lot of guts, man. Because like he literally took his whole 401k out to start his business, and I'm like, that's some confidence right there, bud.
Right.
Like, yeah. So and he was selling the shit out of those bottles when people were coming in. Like, so every Friday is their by they I mean Lucky Liquor is whenever they get their shipment in.
Okay.
And I noticed that he had like 3 or 4 boxes of Mossy Horn. I was like, "Oh, I've never seen that much Mossy Horn at once." And he's like, "Yeah, they're doing a tasting today." And I was like, "Oh shit, that's today." I'd forgot that because he had mentioned to me like, "I'm doing a tasting there. We need to meet, whatever." And every person that was coming in, he was like doing his little sales pitch, and like he was getting them, man. I was pretty impressed. he was opening up the door of the liquor stores, like, "Hey, you want to try a sample?" Like getting people from outside to come in. And I'm like, "Bro, that's so cool."
That's how you do
Yeah.
it.
But yeah. So, but anyways, brother, hey, I appreciate you getting on here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I'm
I'm-
glad to fill a hole in between your more interesting guests.
No, man, like no, I love like whiskey's my jam. I don't care where you come from in life, man. Like
For sure.
I just love talking to people in general. That's what it's it I don't know what it is. I just love interacting with people. It's just how I am.
Absolutely.
I'm very my personality is weird. I'm very introverted, but also very extroverted as well. I just love connecting with
Right.
people and stuff like that and having good conversations. And
Absolutely.
whiskey helps, man.
For
Whiskey
sure.
is so. But yeah, no, I appreciate you getting on, bud.
Absolutely. So much fun.
And you have a good rest of your day. And I will
You
talk
too, man.
to you later, man.
All
Until
right, man.
next
Peace
time,
out.
everybody. Peace.